What's up, losers? Today I'm back with another r/niceguys experience. Checking out a couple of amusing or alarming posts, sharing my thoughts on them, and doing my best to provide a fair assessment of how nice the guys featured in each of them are. This is episode 26 in the Nice Guys series, and I've got some fun posts lined up. So without further ado, let's get into it.
Are you minding them? They always want to escape house duties due to laziness. I honestly don't understand these females lately, and it's very irritating.
Reason most women come for sleepovers and still on bed at 10 a.m. You have woken up, cleaned your house and made lunch, and she opens her wide mouth to eat. If you tell her why she didn't do it, she would say she's not your wife. She can't be doing chores for you. For someone who's trained well, and not lazy, won't see doing chores for you in your house, or see you washing the dishes. You all are with last night. A well-cultured woman will do it with ease, even if she knows you guys are just an item. People do some things not because they want to. You were built and cultured to do it. It's more like a default setting. You just find yourself doing it. End.
Wow, that was rather incoherent, wasn't it? I think I more or less got what our friend here was trying to communicate. But it sure wasn't easy. So my first comment is simply, guys, clarity is key. Can we at the very least have sentences that make sense and follow a logical train of thought? That would be swell. As for the content of this post, yeah, it basically amounts to one giant yikes. As far as I'm concerned. Like, I don't know what gave these guys the idea that women should be expected to do their chores for them, or what decade they think we're living in. But I'm here to tell them that in 2022, if you have chores that need doing, you damn well do them yourself. Women are not lazy for refusing to wait on you hand and foot. They just have a healthy level of self-respect. And they know that your sorry ass isn't worth that shit, haha. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that women should just refuse to do chores outright. Because if a man and a woman are living together, it is only fair that they each contribute in this regard. But from the sound of this post, it's not talking about cohabiting couples sharing the burden of domestic labor. It's saying that even if a woman you're seeing doesn't live with you, she should be willing to take care of your chores on your behalf. And that if she fails to do so, she needs to be better, gulps, trained. All I have to say to that is, get real, buddy. Women are not your damn pets. They are their own people. You are not in a position to be training them one way or another, and they have better things to do than take care of entitled dudes who can't be bothered cleaning up after themselves. So basically, pull your head out of your ass, show a little respect, and most importantly, wash your own fricking dishes. That's it.
Now that I start my next rotation of the sun, I stop and take a moment to take inventory of my past. My worst demon is the fact that no matter what I say or do, rejection is the norm. My search for a woman to join me on my journey is undeniably fruitless. The constant desire and longing for a companion is an anchor which I cannot shed. Also, the fact that this has been normalcy for the majority of my life only compounds my self-loathing. The older I get, the more evident it becomes that it is at the core of my anxiety. In the moments of unbiased openness I have with myself, I admit I wouldn't date me either. I have far too much baggage. I need to find a way to focus on what I can control and be the most beneficial to this rock I can.
You are a sweet person, and the right one will find you.
In my experiences, women don't want a sweet person.
Wow, this guy really does think he's a character in a movie, doesn't he? I mean, starting his next rotation of the sun, and taking inventory of his past, battling the demon of rejection, shedding the anchor of desire and longing. It's all very theatrical and cinematic, isn't it? You can really imagine this guy standing on a windswept cliff, looking mournfully out over the ocean, and wondering where it all went wrong. I'm tearing up a little just thinking about it. Of course, while I'm no stranger to melodrama or self-pity myself, I don't think that this kind of wallowing is likely to achieve much. If this guy is hoping that by putting himself down, he's going to entice a bunch of women to come out of the woodwork, to turn his frown upside down, I think he'll find himself sorely disappointed. Sure, there's always a chance, but he would be much more likely to find results by dealing with his self-esteem issues, getting his sheet together, and putting himself out there in a positive way. Because women, and people generally, don't tend to respond well to unrelenting negativity. And if you want other people to be drawn to you, it's probably not a bad idea to make yourself someone that's fun to be around, rather than a black hole of misery, who requires constant praise and validation from others, while offering nothing in return. Just my 2 cents worth. Oh yeah, and it might be worth toning down the metaphors just a little bit. It's fine to have a bit of pizzazz to your speech, without a doubt, but if you go this far, it inevitably comes across as pretentious. And that's not an appealing quality to have, especially in such excess. So yeah, relax, keep things simple, and you'll do fine, maybe. Okay, fair warning on this next one. I'm at least 98% sure that it's satire, because everything about it is just a little too perfect. But I found it so funny that I don't care. It's still worth including, just for the laughs.
I often eat alone at a Wendy's that's just down the street from my house. A little less than a week ago, I noticed that they hired a new employee. She's a fair-skinned woman who, for the sake of not violating a pending order of protection, we'll say is named Michelle. I was fond of her from the moment I first saw her. I immediately went home, and scoured the internet to find out more information about her. I figured this way I'd be able to learn her interests, and engage her in conversation regarding them. I remember initially thinking to myself, that it's a shame how name tags don't include last names. All I had to go on was her first name and location. Yet thanks to Facebook's ability to search by city and state, I was able to find her after just a few hours. Once I did, I realized I hit a goldmine. Her phone number was visible to everyone, not just Facebook friends. Most women are scared to give out the number to a stranger, because they don't think they're trustworthy. But if someone asked you out on a date after looking you up and learning your phone number, without you having to tell them, you'd likely be far more trusting of that person. Since they already know your personal info, you'd have nothing to lose. That was my line of thinking. Anyway, after obtaining her phone number, I figured I'd try to do something romantic that would build up to me asking her out. I decided to use an app that would let me text her without revealing my actual number. The app allowed me to change my number at will, essentially making it unblockable, which I thought was a good idea since she might think it's just one of her friends messing with her, and block it right away. This would grant me the ability to remain a complete enigma to her. Once a day, I told myself, only text her once a day, so it isn't creepy. Sadly, I was far too excited at the prospect of having my first girlfriend to stick to that. My first text to her was simply, "I saw that picture of your graduation you posted. You're beautiful." Later that day, while I was sitting in the Wendy's parking lot, I sent her another text that said, "I can see you right now. One day you'll see me, too." Before I knew it, I had texted her over 300 times. in just a few days. She never once responded to any of them. Still, not all messages contained text. Some were just pictures of her that I took while she was at work, to let her know that I was actually there. Some of you may have noticed that I wasn't online at all yesterday. There is good reason for that. Yesterday was the day that I met her in person, and tried to ask her out. It didn't go as planned. I walked up to Michelle while she was at the counter, and told her that I'm her admirer. Her cheerful expression changed, as she suddenly started shouting, "This is the guy, Marco. This is the guy." Marco is her manager. He jumped from behind the counter and grabbed me, while instructing her to call the police. I bit his arm hard enough to draw blood, but he did not release me until police arrived. The police said that the detainment was lawful, which meant that I was to be charged with battery for biting the manager. In addition to stalking, this amounts to almost $500 in fines. Thankfully, Father told me he'd take care of it, since I'm currently unemployed. The police also told me that she's filing for an order of protection, so I can't return to that specific Wendy's. Father told me to keep my chin up, and to remember that some women just aren't worth it. He said that if she thinks having a guy flatter her, and think about her all the time, is something to call the police over, then she must be one of those nutty feminists. After spending some time thinking about it, I realized that he's right. Sometimes you just have to remind yourself that it's not you, it's them.
So as I say, I'm almost certain that this one is satire. So I won't tear into it like I would if I thought there was any real chance of it being authentic. Instead, I'll just share my favorite little moments from it that made it such an all-round comedic masterpiece. First, we have the over-the-top obliviousness about what women would and would not be comfortable with. As he stalks her online, and sends her hundreds of text messages, without realizing that what he's doing is at all inappropriate. It's funny because even though it's exaggerated, it's not that far outside the realms of possibility. And if you tone things down just a teensy bit, this would totally check out as something that one of our usual nice guys trademark could have written, haha. Then, we have the whole scene of him showing up at the Wendy's, getting restrained, and biting the manager. I don't think I really need to comment on why that part was funny. It's just a delightfully comical image to bring to mind. And finally, he signs off with the realization that it's not you, it's them. What a perfect final punchline. Because if there's one thing that the nice guys trademark, and stalkers of the world, simply cannot do, it's reflect on their own behavior. It's always someone else's fault, no matter what, and this post captures that mindset beautifully. 10 out of 10, just phenomenal. My congratulations to the chef. Anyway, moving on.
Let's meet for dinner and drinks this evening.
I'm quite tired today, and I don't think I'd be a good conversationalist. But thank you for invitation.
I'm going to say goodbye. You need to be much more respectful to successful American men.
I think I was being respectful, and success doesn't have much to do with that. I'm sorry it hurt you. I was just being honest. Goodbye then.
That is just some advice for while you're here. Yes, in our culture, success has a lot to do with it.
In my culture, everyone deserves respect.
Ha ha, oh no, this one is embarrassing. He even included the little American flag emoji. I just can't, man. Why do these guys always refuse to take no for an answer? And insist on making themselves look terrible. And in this guy's case, trying his best to make a whole country look terrible while he's at it. It's nuts. The woman in this one was so polite and friendly too. There's absolutely nothing to get upset about there. Yet he still has to throw a tantrum, and pathetically brag about how Successful he is. Give me a break. Whether he's really successful or not, I think it's safe to say that she dodged a bullet with this one. Because any guy with an ego this fragile is most assuredly not worth the effort. Not in America, and not anywhere else. Well, that's all I've got for you today. I hope you enjoyed your time with these charming lads, and that you got something out of my commentary. What do you think? Do women need to be trained to do men's household chores for them? How can one overcome the demon of rejection, and the anchor of desire and longing? Do only successful American men command respect? Did you enjoy that Wendy's story? Let me know in the comments. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe, or I'll bite your arm hard enough to draw blood. Just kidding, haha. Anyway, catch you later.